Fresh from a furious exchange in the Oval Office, Volodymyr Zelenskyy arrives at number 10 Downing Street to a much warmer reception from the British Prime Minister.
You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position.
Still smarting from his bitter ejection from the White House, the Ukrainian leader flew straight to London for the hastily arranged meeting.
We stand with you, with Ukraine, for as long as it may take.
The chequebook was opened wide with a new message of support.
We're going to sign the UK-Ukrainian Extraordinary Revenue Acceleration Loan Agreement worth £2.26 billion.
European leaders also rallied in support of President Zelenskyy after his row with Trump and his Vice President JD Vance, firmly urging him to get back to the US.
We have to move beyond what happened last night. What I told to President Zelenskyy is that I said, I think you have to find a way, dear Volodymyr, to restore your relationship with Donald Trump.
Volodymyr Zelenskyy should return to the negotiating table with the US. He should sit down calmly at the table and negotiate a solution which will make Ukraine safe.
Today, a European security summit in the British capital as leaders come to terms with the new US administration's radically different approach to bringing this war to an end. They'd intended to discuss the minerals deal Ukraine was supposed to sign in Washington, but top of the agenda now will likely be bridging the rift with the US.
We will keep on fighting, we will not surrender, but to end this war we need American involvement, and everybody needs American involvement.
Donald Trump's returned home to Mar-a-Lago for the weekend. He says Zelenskyy can come back to the US when he's ready for peace. The trouble is the two leaders differ widely on how to achieve it.
Well, let's bring in our Europe correspondent, Zoe Ford, who is in London. Hi, Zoe. What message is Europe and the UK hoping to send to the United States?
Good evening, Lorna. They're hoping to send a message that despite what happened in Washington, they will intensify their efforts to help Ukraine secure a just and lasting peace. They'll be really reiterating their support today for Volodymyr Zelenskyy here in London, and they'll be trying to work out whether European leaders can take the lead in providing weapons and finance for Kyiv moving forward. We are now into the fourth year of this war, but it's going to be delicate, Lorna, because they don't want to be seen to be ganging up on Donald Trump. And indeed, some of the European leaders and the NATO chief have already urged Volodymyr Zelenskyy to return to Washington to resume talks with Donald Trump. They want him to get back there and repair that relationship. Now, today we are expecting to see around 20 of the major European leaders gather here in London for this Peace and Security Summit. They were already due to come here. They were expecting to be discussing the Ukraine minerals deal signed with the United States. That, of course, didn't happen after that extraordinary spat in the Oval Office. So now we expect the discussion really to centre on the next steps. How do we repair the US, Europe, UK and Ukraine relationship, and what happens from now to help Ukraine in the immediate future, but as well as more long term. So we're expecting to see leaders from France, Italy, Germany, Spain, the Scandinavian countries, as well as the NATO chief and the presidents of the European Council and the European Commission. We're told that Justin Trudeau is also heading across from Canada, not a European leader, but wanting to come and pledge his support at this point in time. So important talks later throughout the day here in London. Volodymyr Zelenskyy is also expected to meet with King Charles this morning at the request of the UK government. Now, what does Russia make of all of this? Well, we haven't heard a word from Vladimir Putin yet. However, we have heard from his foreign ministry spokesperson who described what went down in Washington as a complete diplomatic failure of Kyiv, while Russian state television has described it as a diplomatic train wreck. So it'll now be up to Ukraine and these European leaders here in London today to try to figure out a way, Lorna, of getting this train back on the tracks.
Zoe Ford, thank you.